So about 15 years ago, I flew to Mumbai for a wedding, and I was feeling pretty good about myself because my wife's family is from Chennai, which is Tamil Nadu, South India. And every time we're down there, she's doing all the talking. Like I can do medical Tamil, I can do Salit, Irumal, Talavali, cough, cold cough, headache. What's the problem? Enna prachana? Ukaranga, sit down, right? So I can run a clinic visit in Tamil, but I can't order lunch or talk to people conversationally. So when we land in Bombay, I'm like, yo, leave this to me. This one's mine. Marathi is my mother tongue. Malamay teka sa boletsa. So I got this. So we get in the first auto. The guy doesn't speak Marathi. Then we get a taxi. Also doesn't speak Marathi. So on our whole trip, every single driver, not a single one of them spoke Marathi. Most of them, I was like, why don't you speak Marathi? Just wondering, because I'm not from the area, right? I grew up in America, but I do speak Marathi. And most told me they were from UP, which is Uttar Pradesh, totally different state. So my wife, who also speaks Hindi along with, Tamil, Telugu, German, does all the talking again. So I'm bringing that up because in the state of Maharashtra, now they've decided that this is a problem worth fining people over, that the drivers don't speak Marathi. So why this is a medsplain video. So quick context on that. So I started this channel because I thought medical English was too complicated. People kind of walk out of appointments not knowing their own medical history. And it's not because they're not smart. It's because nobody translated it. So I was thinking if we can communicate better, a lot of these problems go away. That's the whole idea, like medicine made simple or medsplaining, like common language. So today's video is about language and communication, but it's not exactly the same as what I wanted to do here, but I feel like it's closer than it looks. So I was on Reddit, the India subreddit, which I don't normally go to, but it pops up sometimes because you know how that algorithm surveillance state works. So Mumbai is in Maharashtra. So that state's rolling out, Mumbai is also called Bombay. So that's rolling out a mandate that auto rickshaw and taxi drivers have to speak practical Marathi. It's not fluent, it's practical. They actually put out a guidebook, and they're like, here's the words and phrases you need to learn with the passenger. The idea isn't crazy if it's coming from a place of you should be able to talk to the person driving you. I think the thing most people are flagging is the enforcement. There's penalties attached, and drivers right now have started a 3-day strike. So, yeah, I did want to say two things as disclaimers, right? So, full disclosure, one, the way I'd declare funding on like a medical research paper. Marathi is my mother tongue. I speak it. I was born and raised in the U.S., but that's the language of my house. That's what I spoke to my grandmother when she was alive. She didn't speak English and all those things. So I'm not neutral here. But number two is I don't know anything about Indian politics. I am not political at all in India. I know that there's parties, but I don't even know the names of all of them. So I've posted stuff about India before on like LinkedIn, and the comments were like, stop being political. And I'm like, I don't even know Indian politics. Like I know BJP is Narendra Modi's party, and there's another party called Congress, which isn't an actual like Congress like we have in America. But anyways, I just want to say, like, I'm not being political. So what the drivers are saying is that a lot of them are older, in like 50s and 60s, and many of them never went to school. And the line that was kind of the headline was, had we been educated, we'd be in an office. So at first that was kind of funny, but it's also a little sad. Like this is a man telling you, hey, like I'm driving an auto because I can't pass your language test, and now you're taking away my job. That's, with this penalty or whatever. So I was reading a lot of the comments because I did want to be fair. So some of it's straw man arguments, a bunch of those. But the most common argument is everyone speaks Hindi, or 99% is what commenters say. I'm not fact checking Reddit, but like a lot of the straw man is like, there are way bigger problems. There's infrastructure and pollution. Fix those first. I don't agree with like the bigger problem arguments in general, because you can really make that about anything, right? Like focus on the real problem, right? So I don't know Marathi versus Hindi. I think that is a political question, but I did want to just look into it and say, hey, like when is the last time I actually needed to talk to my driver, right? So in Uber, I have the quiet preferred setting on, not because I'm antisocial, but I do talk to the drivers a lot of the time, but my default is, hey, like I want to get to where I'm going efficiently, right? So my transaction is A to B, maybe A to B to C or whatever, right? But it's fundamentally a transportation service, not a conversation service. I guess you could say the same thing for like bartenders. Like, I'm here to get a drink, not to talk, but a lot of people talk to their bartenders. And, you know, if you can't speak to your bartender, at least they can make good drinks or something. Anyways, I don't know where I went with that analogy, but in an auto, the real communication that's got to happen is I need to go here. There's a meter. It's on or off. You don't want getting run up like how taxis used to before Uber came and ate their lunch. Yeah, so I think it's really just those few phrases. It's not like conversational fluency. It's supposed to be like those few phrases and things, which again brings me back to my Tamil. Like, I can't hold a conversation in Tamil, but if I needed to do my entire job, I could, because I learned like the several words that the job required, right? I don't know if it was like 100 words even, but I could basically take a history, and a lot of the words in Tamil Nadu anyways are like sugar and pressure, which is like diabetes and hypertension, right? They don't have like a Tamil equivalent. If they do, no one ever used it. For the other ones, someone comes in and I'm like, enna prachana? Like, what's the problem? They could tell me, and like sit down first, and then tell me the problem. And it's not like a long thing. I'm like okay, I look in the throw, whatever, right? Like, I could ask in the matra something, like ask questions about Tamil, right? People can critique my Tamil, but my Marathi is much better. People will critique that too, but I'm not going to speak it right now. The last thing I was going to say is there's also AI, right? Like, already we have live translation. Like, two people can speak completely different languages and it translates in your ear in real time. It's literally the Babelfish from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which even for people who are old enough, there was actually a website in the early internet called Babelfish. The actual real Babelfish like practically exists now with these headphones. If like you're going to Russia or something, and if Uber doesn't work there, maybe China, Uber doesn't work there, wherever, you can translate if you have internet with your phone, and you could have it say like, take me to the Four Seasons or whatever, right? Like, and they'll hopefully take you to the Four Seasons hotel and not parking garage or whatever Rudy Giuliani did. But so if you're able to get a phone, I feel like it does a lot of that work of the communication gap. They may not be able to speak back, but if I could at least say, take me to this place and that, and just ask it to go, or even show on a map. I don't know what they use to navigate, but I know in big urban cities it's a little different. So I do feel, in the end, trying to stay non-political. I think the goal is reasonable, wanting the passenger and driver to understand each other. And like I said, I built this whole channel on the idea that communication is a big fix for a lot of problems. But I don't know if this fight is manufactured. Again, like, I don't know the politics of Mumbai. I don't even know which party's in power or how the city versus the state stuff works. I don't know if like Mumbai is supposed to be like the New York City. Do they have like a Zoran Mamdani of Mumbai versus the state legislature? I don't know. But anyways, I do feel like there's some space between here's a guidebook, learn the phrases for your job, and like pass this or you lose your like license or you get fined. Kind of makes the language into a loyalty test. I feel like in America we do something with Spanish speakers the same way, of like they're somehow less American if you don't speak English well enough, or if you have a different accent, things like that. So I don't think it's quite the same. Again, I don't know anything about Indian politics. It's kind of sad that the people who are paying for it never really got to go to school, right? They're like these 50, 60-year-old men who said, had we been educated, we'd be in an office. So I don't know about all of these things. Hopefully this made some sense about why I felt like this language case worked out for Medsplain. Yeah. Anyways, मी नंतर बोलतो. आता मी जातो आणि काहीतरी खातो आणि नंतर मी झोपणार. So, all right. Thanks, guys.